must realize you are doomed.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining the Scoundrel podcast. We got a segment here called Extremely Late Reviews. And we're going to review the 1997 Mortal Kombat Annihilation. We're going to try to get to this. We really are. But, all right. So we got a special guest today, folks. We got Pyro.
Hi.
We got Pyro with us on the panel. That's how good
What's up?
this segment's gonna go, fellas. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Okay. Where do we begin? Let's just start with where it left us with. So the movie starts off where they left us in the original 1995. Shao Kahn comes down, wreaks havoc on the Order of Light. He's got his army there. I got all of them surrounded. Raiden, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Katana, Sonya. Got them all surrounded. And then we start seeing Shao Kahn and Raiden start going at it. With this opening scene, I'm going to start with Rich, then Vic, then over to Pyro. What was your impressions of this introductory scene with all the new characters and the fight between Raiden and Shao Kahn? Yeah, well, there's some new characters that brought into the film.
Yeah.
What stood out to you the most out of this scene here?
Instantly,
Look how they massacred my boy.
they got rid of my boy Johnny Cage. It's like
Oh,
they got different actors. I was kind of shocked. Well, now I'm shocked. As a kid, I was just like, it is what it is. But now I think back and I'm like, why would they do that when the original did? I don't know how great the original did in people's eyes at the time, but it's like a cult classic right now. But you would think, if it did so well, why would they replace some of these actors? But that was my first reaction.
Just to piggyback on that, I do. It cost about 20 million to make the 95 version, and it grossed the box office. They had 122 million, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
Wow.
the production shots that they were releasing on like magazines and stuff were like really awesome at the time, and they didn't even have any of the things that they put in those magazines in the Mortal Kombat movie, and nobody cared.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Go ahead.
Yeah, right off the bat, I was just shocked that they replaced my favorite character from the first one, and Raiden and Sonya. They replaced those. But it was when I was a kid watching it, I was like, when I saw Shiva, I was like, whoa! Like they actually brought her into the movie, and then they had the what's that guy's name? The Minotaur looking guy.
Yeah.
Motaro.
And I was like, okay.
Horse Taro.
Horse Taro. But yeah, as a kid, I was a little confused. I was just like, I don't know who these people are. They're not who I remember. But
So, was it Minotauro? Anyways, it doesn't matter. He was hard as to fight in the game because he would always like, donkey kick you and stuff. He looked cool and like fierce, and like he was crazy from like, you go from Goro to Kintaro to this thing, a horseman, and jumping all over the place like in the video game. Like, okay. And then we get to this and he just looks like my stepdad. Like,
Wow.
why?
Wow.
Like, why? So I mean, he doesn't look threatening at all. Shiva looks silly, and she's wearing like a bathing suit or something like that. Let's try to keep it positive. We'll find something positive in this intro scene, and that is
There is none.
I'll insert crickets right here.
I really want to find something no, because I think we can extract some positive things from this movie. The soundtrack is great. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's
I don't like
probably
any
the
of
only
the
thing.
I don't like any of
Oh,
the
no.
no.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
I
I'm
I
back.
don't like any of the recasted actors.
Mm-mm.
It immediately sucks you out, especially since it's like almost right like at the beginning of where the last movie left off. That's what's
Yeah.
like so jarring. And
Mhm.
so you're immediately like just like thrown out of the movie. You're
Yeah.
the entire time you're like, okay, now you're killing Johnny Cage? What? Like so I mean I tried my best. I couldn't find anything positive. I guess it was good that they didn't keep the original actors because then they would have had to have been in this movie,
Mhm. It's true.
right?
Right.
I think the only positive is that they kept Katana and probably Liu Kang. That's probably
Good
it.
positive.
Yeah.
And to add what why they changed like the actors and actresses. I guess some of them either were working on something else at that time, or they
Uh-huh.
wanted to work on something else, or they read the script and they were like, yeah, we don't want nothing to do with this. So
Yeah.
right off the bat, like if you're having your actor saying that, and it wasn't even a bad movie from the first one, to go like that, you know it's gonna be a rough movie.
And it says a lot for Liu Kang's character or actor because in the first movie he like broke his ribs on a pillar fighting Reptile. So like the guy broke bones and he still wanted to make this movie. That's
Yeah.
dedication.
He actually
Yeah.
broke ribs?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
Because
know
the
that.
director was like, we got these like 3 shots, do it a 4th time. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna give it my all. Here I go. Gah! Like
Wow, I did not know that.
Mm.
Dave.
He's still
I
trying to
didn't
find
know
a
if you wanted-
positive.
Oh,
I didn't know if
He
you
was-
wanted me to add
He
anything
wants
else.
to be
No.
negative. It's
Oh,
so
no,
easy
no,
to
no,
be
no.
negative.
He
on
was
this show.
listening to all of ours to
It's
try to
like
think of something
Mortal
positive.
Kombat Annihilation
Oh, man.
annihilated me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pinpointed on all that obvious stuff that opening scene, and more obvious that I'm gonna say too was that stupid ass wig Raiden was wearing. Oh my
Oh.
god, that was terrible. Oh
Yeah.
my god. But anyways, Johnny Cage died just like that. Well, but they showed us his flash kick, right? His
Yeah.
shadow kick. Oh wow. So what? He died in 10 seconds. It was stupid. Anyway, so they did that, and you know, then they go on these giant balls in
That's
Earth's core. I'm like, I don't remember any of this shit from the game. What the hell is this from? You know, it was
Yeah.
like gyrospheres,
Yeah.
and I don't know, and just and the acting in like them pretending to be in these big old cojones,
Yeah.
and and Katana's like, quick, make a right.
Oh my
You
god.
know,
So
it's like,
dangerous. So dangerous for no
what the
reason.
hell? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, okay. So anyway, so they go in these cojones, and you get Liu Kang and Katana, and they meet up with we get a new Sub-Zero. You know,
Yeah.
they got him and Scorpion. Scorpion's in that scene too. What did you guys think of that scene? Was any positive on there? I mean, we could talk negative as much as we want, but was there any positive? If not, give me the filthy, give me the negative then if you ain't got nothing positive.
Well, I gotta bring up that thing about Johnny Cage also, because that
Uh-huh.
really sucked. You were right. He did do that shadow kick, and I'm probably as a kid thinking, hey man, okay, I can get along with this Johnny Cage, and he just dies. But the scene I was laughing at earlier was that exact scene you brought up with the spheres, where you got Katana and Liu Kang. Hold on to me, chest to chest,
Yeah.
chest to chest, and you're
It's
just
like, what the-
rolling.
Yeah.
But the Sub-Zero, that was his brother, right?
Yeah,
Sub-Zero?
little
Yes.
brother.
That was
I
his
think.
brother, right? His
Mhm.
little brother. He had the
Yeah.
scar and everything.
And he had my
Yeah.
eyebrows. So strange. Really weird.
I mean, the opening scene was, or that scene was, this is where I started falling out. And the sad thing is that,
Just
I-
now? At
No,
this
no.
point you start falling? Oh.
well, like
Like, I-
as a kid, as a kid, I was shocked because, well, first of all, my mom had to force my dad to take me to go watch this movie.
Wow, you paid
So
money?
my dad did, and
Oh,
my dad he didn't really understand them what they were saying, so he was just like this legit the whole time, just watching. And at
like
first, like,
Mitaro.
whoa, whoa, and then I see Johnny Cage die, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it. And that's when my dad told me that's why you don't get attached to things.
Wow. See, you learned a lesson. You learned a lesson.
That's why you don't
And
get it.
yeah, so I mean that opening scene, I was still reeling kind of from Johnny Cage because I was excited to go see him again, and they took him away that quick.
That if we're looking for positives, right? The song that they play on there, I used to play all the time. It's Fire by Scooter, and yeah, it's got the lyrics in the actual song. They only play the instrumental in this scene, where Sub-Zero comes out. But right when Sub-Zero comes out, it hits. So I always have like a fond, like this is nostalgia because when I look back at this movie, I don't like it. Like, but it's so nostalgic that I remember him flying in, freezing everything, and in my mind, it looks so much better than it actually is. And then you get Smoke in there, and he's shooting missiles, and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So at
Mhm.
least they tried to bring in like new characters, Smoke, Cyrax, like a new Sub-Zero, but yeah, the music really stands out to me in this scene most of all. Like I
yeah,
just remember that.
Yeah, I mean, the only positive is probably the characters that they bring in. Um, I feel like because Mortal Kombat has such a variety of characters from ninjas like Scorpio, Sub Zero, to human fighters to robots. So I thought this was just a nice like, oh, let's try to get the whole roster in there, but
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, just this movie is just is real rough.
I want to go to you, Vince. I remember in our 95 Mortal Kombat review, you were talking about you really didn't care how they had Jax as the character in that movie. So here we have Sonya goes visits Jax, and we have the whole fight scene with Cyrix. Just Jax, what'd you think of that character then?
I think
The person who
I
played Jax.
I think they captured Jax how I imagined him. He's kind of like arrogant. He's like, oh, I got these huge ass arms, and I could probably take out 100 guys like with no problem. So I feel like they got that guy down pat. And seeing him like actually built too is good because I feel like when you see Jax or you hear about Jax or you're talking to someone about Jax from Mortal Kombat, you think of his big arms. So it's nice
Yeah.
that they got someone that was actually built, and then when they you know put the robot things on him, freaking, or like they take off the stuff, you could see like, all right, this is a metal arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So it is kind of hard to talk about this movie. It really is, especially on a positive note. So I'm gonna try to switch it up a little bit. So with all these new characters, I mean, we got Cyrax, we have Ermac, we have
Rain.
Shiva, Rain, all these different characters that they gave us. I'm just gonna say, which one were you most disappointed in? I mean, I already know it's Johnny Cage for Rich, but as far as the newer characters that were introduced to this movie, which one you were most disappointed in, and which one you were like, okay, it was okay for me. I'll start with you, Rich.
Uh, Whenever you bring up Jax, I mean, obviously it was an automatic upgrade from the first one. They actually got a guy that was built. Um, they got a guy was built, and he actually had like his arms and everything. Even though there was some parts where when he was fighting, they grab his arm and like bend it, and you can still hear like bones cracking. But he's got that metal
Uh,
arm still, so that kind of part was was a little weird. But yeah, him and but the worst one I would have to say was Baraka. Whenever they fight Baraka,
Mm.
but that was going to be difficult to start with, right? I mean, that's a kind of hard character to
Because he's a
build on.
monster.
Yeah, but like it looks like he legit had like a Halloween mask on, like something you
He
just
did,
buy
yes.
at
Yeah.
like Party City. Like you just pop that on, give him these massive blades where he couldn't even do anything with them. Once he had them out, he had to just run with them while they were just sticking out his arms. And most of the time he was running like this. And he just had, and then you see even more cabals come down during that scene. But
Really, his whole existence is him trying not to kill himself.
yeah,
He's just trying so hard not
trying
to
so hard not to pierce himself. So Jax was an upgrade for me, and Cabal was probably the worst one for me. For me, yeah.
Oh, for me,
How about
it's
you, Vic?
100% Nightwolf. Wow, what a sad usage of that character. Like he doesn't do anything. He just is like a stereotypical, like kind of like mystic. Like I get it, but if you go to Mortal Kombat 3 and you look at all the moves that you could have had, like I mean, no green arrow, like no shoulder
anything.
shot, no axe. Oh man, so many missed opportunities with Nightwolf. And
Yeah.
they made him look silly too. Like they went to Party City. They got all of their costumes from Party City. They got a little bit of paint for Nightwolf and they wasted them. And
Yeah.
a second one, honorable mentions to most like disappointing character was Sindel. Sindel, I loved playing Mortal Kombat 3 and just, trolling my brother by making her fly and just staying up in the air, and she's in this movie like she's just a terrible actress. She I don't know, like it's almost like she tried to ruin the character
Yeah.
with her line deliveries, and she was like over the top, like
Mhm.
bad acting. So her Nightwolf and Sindel were the greatest disappointments for me.
Yeah.
For me, I my the upgrade is probably Jax, and just for the reasons that Rich said. But I feel like Shao Kahn, he's supposed to be the emperor and stuff like that, and just like his costume and like the lines that he would give out, it's just like I can't like I don't believe that you're Shao Kahn, like
And that guy can act good. That's the crazy part. That actor can actually act good, but he decided not to.
yeah, yeah. So it's just I don't know, and it's like uh you know playing the games and stuff like that. Like I just imagine his hammer is green, but like they left it like normal, and it's just like really like you
It's
guys
tiny.
have yeah. It's just like the tiny little details can make this movie just a little bit better, but they
Yeah.
just
They just dropped
decide
the
not
ball.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, the worst disappointed character that they brought in for me was Rain, because man, I used to love playing. Rain was my guy in Mortal Kombat 3. I love Rain. And what pissed me off was, and this is another thing too, is he died because he didn't make Cabal and Stryker beg for their life. And then Shao Kahn just hit him with a fucking mallet and into the fire pit. Really? Are you kidding me? That's how he dies? Kidding me? And I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, but I remember back in the day when Mortal Kombat 3 came out, everybody so much fan favorite was Cabal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they were like, they didn't even show him, but they mentioned them. Oh, we killed the two finest warriors, Stryker and Cabal. You guys didn't even show me. You just said you just killed them. That was it. That was so, I could not believe they did, because I remember when I was a kid that Cabal was such a fan favorite back then. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, what the hell? And I don't know if it's really the character I liked. I think it was just because the character did the best part of the movie for me. And the best part of the movie was this scene right here was Jade. freaking pimp slapped Liu Kang. 'Cause that's exactly what I wanted to do to the people who did this goddamn movie, because it was shit. This movie was shit. It's exactly what I wanted to do, was pimp slap these bitches. I mean, really. Oh my god, it was so bad. But that was probably the best part of the movie for me. I mean, that's the only thing I can really say. Besides, like Vic said, the soundtrack, they knocked it out of the park
Pretty
again with
banging.
that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
banging. So then we get towards I'm gonna go piggyback what Vic was talking about, Night Wolf. Then we get the animality type thing.
Oh, God.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
God.
One word.
The
Rough.
oh was that rough? I mean, oh my god. I mean, 2 buckets of popcorn couldn't save me for this movie at all, because I was just stuffing my face like just so I can have a fucking heart attack so I can get the hell out of this theater, because it was just terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's just quickly go towards the end, because I so much bad stuff on here. Let's go towards the end with the final fight scenes between Liu Kang and Shao Kahn we had, and Raiden giving up his immortality and all this other stuff. I mean,
We're just dying slow as we're talking about it.
yeah, it's just, oh my god. What do you guys think of that as far as the whole? I know I'm jumping a lot. It's just because it's just,
Everybody knows.
I don't know. It's bad.
It's no secret.
Yeah.
What do you guys thought about the whole, whole ending story? Were you just glad that you could just walk the hell out of there and say, okay, finally, this is over with? Or were you like, okay? Or were you in shock? Maybe you were in shock. I don't know.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's different from like watching it now. Right now, I couldn't even sit through it. But whenever I was a kid, watching it in theaters, whenever the ending did happen, with the fight between like Jax fighting Motar or whatever. And he
Motaro.
yeah, Motaro,
Yeah.
that's his name. Why do I always say his name wrong?
It's just funny that we just
Motaro.
keep switching it. Horse Taro.
But
His name's good name.
whenever he rips off Jack's arm, and then he looks at Shao Kahn and goes, ah! And they all like, yeah, good job.
You
Well,
did it.
While he's fighting, he just happens to look down. He's like, yeah, I got Jackson's arm.
It's his trophy.
But this
Yeah,
movie was cringy to like laughter. Like I look at it and I just like earlier I was just watching highlights, the ball scene. Whenever just Liu Kang and Katana. When you talk about Sindel, how bad that actress was. When that same fight, whenever Jax is fighting Mataro, and she lifts up her leg, she's got Katana on the ground, and she just goes, hey. And she brings her away.
Dude, the missile,
Oh my
that
God.
comes out of Smoke's chest. I swear, it's got it on a string, and it flies.
And Liu Kang didn't have to run up and do the backflip. He just did it. And if you look closely, the missile goes through like his back or something. But there's that. Screw it. I feel like for this movie, they made a fantastic soundtrack. They're like, oh, I guess we got to make a movie for it. So they put together this.
I mean, you're right. I mean, this movie's chock full of like cringy, super funny scenes. Like the way that elder god guy like gets trapped in those cubes when the other elder gods come, and he just goes ah! And like just gets put into like 6 cubes, and then they like send him to like the Phantom Zone or something. Like,
Yeah.
I love that. I love stupid stuff like that. Raiden getting his haircut, like the cringe, like him getting his haircut. It's like, okay, no, you were tired of wearing the wig. We get it. Or like the miniatures of like, the canyons like getting blown apart as Sindel is like screaming. One thing they did do good in this movie, I guess, was they brought us like a ton of locations. They brought us a ton of fighting arenas. So yeah, we had the Sub-Zero like battleground. We had the Cyrax like computer room kind of thing, and they beat the hell out of that entire production set. They destroyed a bunch of glass. They blew shit up. Yeah, we had maybe it's sexist or misogynistic, but we had like 2 girls in like a mud fight or something. Sure,
Yeah.
why not? We're already being cringy, so. And then we have this CG battle with two giant like lizards, you know. So, and they have a lot of close-ups of their weird eyes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they brought us a lot of interesting sets, and I like that about that.
Okay. What about you,
I
Vince?
think I I think I like the sets too. You know, when Vic was saying how you know the computer room and the Sub-Zero, it made me think. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, uh the games have just so many sets of like just different places, and it's like one, like, you know, you could be in a computer room, but then you could be fighting in the pits of hell, like with
Subway
yeah,
underground, yeah.
yeah, and it's just like a vast majority of like the areas, and I'm like, oh, you know, that at least they did that. At least they, you know, try to change up the scene so it's not like it like in the first movie where it was just a little pit with the sands and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I like how they try to change it, but God, that CGI in the last fight, it's just so bad. Like, you know, you don't have the technology for it.
Yeah.
Why even try something so
Yeah.
big, so ridiculous to the point where it's like, you know, it's just gonna look like shit. So why even try? I just no. Mm-mm.
Mm. So, you know, they did put more money into the budget than they did in the original one. I believe I said that it was 20 million for the original 95 version. They put 30 million in this 97 version. And I think the box office was only if this is right, this is 36 million was
Oh
their
wow,
box
lost
office.
money.
Wow.
I was part of that
Yeah.
box office.
I would think.
Yeah, so it was pretty so let me just go straight into it and say, okay, so what was your final grade on this? You know, especially even now. Back then, I know it was different. We were kids, but
Nah,
what's your rating as far as now?
even as a kid, it didn't hold up. I left the theater feeling like I just did not feel the same way the same way I did when I watched the first one. Nothing's gonna touch the first one. I mean, I'm excited about the new one that's coming out. I mean, the stuff we've seen. I think they're gonna hopefully they hit it right on the head. But um, as a grade, man, it's hard for me to even give it anything above an F. It's very hard. It's very hard. Like I said in the last podcast, I can rewatch the first one and feel totally fine. But this one, I find myself just skipping into
Oh
different
wow, you
scenes.
skipped when you said that.
Oh, did
Yeah,
I?
that was pretty
Crazy.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
meant to
What
be.
timing?
So yeah, so it's never gonna touch the first one.
Yeah, it's an F, but yeah, the thing is that this movie has so many tiny little funny clips like everywhere, like Sindel doing the "too bad you will die," you know, like that.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like Mitar or whatever horse Taro, like getting punched over and over and over in the dick, like
Yeah, Jack just
just
uppercuts him.
you know. And once you kind of put it together, it's the same. They just reused Goro's like kind of dick punch, but with
Yeah.
Jack's. I mean, it's funny moments. Like I said, the elder god guy getting cubed away. That is hilarious to me. Oh my goodness, that thing is hilarious to me. The CG is so horrible, but it's funny to look at,
Yeah.
you know? So, this movie is a black stain on Mortal Kombat,
Mhm.
but
I thought you were about to say your life.
no, but I should have. But you know, maybe it's good that we had this black sheep in the property, because you know from there we just kind of went up and up and up. And if you've played any of the games since Mortal Kombat 9, their cinematic narrative has gotten so good in the last games. Like every single one is shot so well, and the editing is good, and the camera angles are good. They know they're doing such clever editing on all these games, and it's really immersive stories too. Like Liu Kang is a god now, and he's like he's like a time fire god. Like it's awesome, and he's good, and he goes back and he's actually like gonna train Kung Lao as a god. It's super cool. So maybe this is what we needed. This, we needed the property to get annihilated, and then we would rise up out of the ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the new games, I would say, definitely steps it up. Like I don't know, freaking anything compared to this is just garbage. Like I rather be playing, the first Mortal Kombat than watch this fucking movie. It's just that bad, and I just can't.
with the blood turned off, like
Yeah.
where they're just getting hit and they're spit.
Yeah, it's just, oh my god, it's really hard to just say anything good about it besides just the handful of things. I really wish that they took the little details from the game, and I felt like it would have been a little bit better. And when I was watching it as a kid, it you know I was just excited for another Mortal Kombat film just because I was a gamer back then. But yeah, it doesn't. It's not good. It is definitely not good.
Definitely not good.
Yeah.
The acting by all of them were horrible, even by Robin Shu. The choreography was horrible, even with Robin Shu. It was horrible. The editing was even horrible. The only good thing or bright spot you could say was the soundtrack was pretty good. Not bad on that. Everything about this was just horrible. This looked like random people said, "Hey, let's make a movie and let's put Mortal Kombat characters in it."
Yeah.
So my rating is I'm giving this rating. I'm giving it a shower, a chocolate shower. It's shit.
I don't know what that means, but I love it.
It's a shit show.
It's terrible. But anyways, so that's our rating, guys. We don't know if you went through this for the whole video, whole review with us. We could barely get through this after the first 30 seconds talking about this movie. But if you guys lasted with us through all this, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, give us hit that notification bell. And to our special guest, Vince, Mr. Pyroclown, where can I find you at?
Twitch and YouTube at Pyroclown59, all in one word, and that's how you guys will be able to find me.
Awesome. And Rich, where can they find us at?
If you're watching this on YouTube, which you are, because that's the only way you can watch it, scroll down to our description and you'll see a link tree. Click on that for links to all of our platforms, from Instagram, Twitch. You don't need YouTube, but all of our podcasts. We got Podomatic, we got Apple Podcasts. Click on those links; they'll take you there. I'm gonna link Pyroclown59's Twitch in there. That way you can click on that, check out all of his content. He has a schedule and everything set. If you click on that link, you'll see.
Yeah, he's on. Just to speak on Pyroclan, he's been doing. He's on Hollow Knight, I believe. That's what game you've been doing. He's also been.
Yeah.
In the past, he did Alien Isolation. He done
good.
Resident Evil.
So good.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite Alien movies. That game.
Oh
that
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really?
I mean,
okay.
it's a little rough to stream. At least for me, it was.
Oh, definitely. Especially on nightmare mode. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
Anyways, follow this man. Me and Rich sometimes are up in his discussions, giving him shit. So come over there and we'll have different discussions, random discussions, not even dealing with what he's playing, but we'll have random discussions. Me and Rich pop in there and we race somehow. So everybody, for Rich, Vic, and Vince, I'm Dave. Remember, never be enough scoundrels in your life.
Yeah.